Help me reach 7,000 subscribers. Please like the video and share your thoughts in the comments. Your feedback helps make the content better. She was already dressed when I walked in from the garage. Black skirt, jacket, hair done like she had a commercial to shoot. I held up a takeout menu and 2 movie tickets I'd bought on my way home. Dinner and a late show, I told her. I booked the seats with the recliners. We haven't had a night, just us in weeks. She didn't even look at the tickets. That's sweet, she said, adjusting an earring. But the girls lined up a club tonight. I told them I'm in. It's kind of a thing. A thing like us sitting together with real food, I said. Or a thing like you and a phone screen in a loud room. She smirked. You don't like clubs. You get bored. No offense. None taken. You taking my car? Yeah, she answered easily. It photographs better when we pull up. I'll need you to swing me by Jenna's first. She's hosting the pregame. So there it was, my gas, my time, my seatbelt. The part where I get called reliable, like that's something to feed on instead of just a label people throw at you when they want your calendar. I kept my voice even. We already have plans, I said. I bought tickets. Resell them, she said, finally meeting my eyes. Don't get weird about it. If I'd known where it was headed, I would have walked right past the tickets and straight to the toolbox. I slid the tickets into the drawer by the stove, set the menu on the counter, and took a breath. Let's pause, I told her. You can go have your night. Your transportation won't be me. I'm not your driver. She laughed lightly. Relax. It's one ride. One ride is a pattern when it's always me. You're being sensitive. That word again, like a mosquito singing in your ear. I put my keys on the hook and poured myself water. You're still going? I asked. Yeah, she said. Obviously. Good, I said. Then you'll manage the rest of it. She cocked her head. Meaning? Meaning I'm done being logistics for nights I'm not invited to. I grabbed an apple from the bowl. If you want fun, use your fun people to get you there. I always knew you were a little bit controlling, she said, half smile, half dare. Then tonight should be a relief, I replied. I'm not controlling a thing. She glanced at the time on her phone. I still need the SUV for a hair touch-up. Just toss me the key. I'll be back by 7. You can use the smaller car. You can take the smaller car, I said. I'm using the SUV for work tomorrow, so it stays here. That's new protocol. She blinked. Since when? Since now. She stared, then turned toward the hallway mirror. You realize you're messing up my schedule for no reason. Not for no reason, I said. For a very clear reason. She made a show of zipping her clutch. Unbelievable. Take the compact, I said. Or carpool. She stood across from me, measuring whether to push or pivot. Fine, she said finally, grabbing the smaller key from the dish. I'll send you the salon bill later. Don't, I told her. That's not a household expense. She snorted. We'll talk. We won't, I answered, finishing the water. She rolled out the door with the little car, tires whispering annoyance. I looked at the 2 unopened tickets in the drawer and knew they weren't the point. It wasn't about a movie. It was about what I was funding and how I was being framed while I did it. The next afternoon, I was under a truck at the shop. My buddy Marco owns the place, and on Fridays I help out with overflow. Grease and bolts are honest. They don't pretend to like you. My phone buzzed across the metal tray. Pick me up at 5? Her text read, need to hit Jenna's by 7. Can you spot me cash for her theme stuff? I'll pay you back. I wiped my hands and called her. Theme stuff? I asked. Party favors, decorations, lift if your protocol gets in the way, she said, sugar in the voice. I'm at work, I said. I'm not a bank machine in a flannel. It's Jenna's birthday pregame. Everyone's pitching in. You want me to look cheap. I want you to handle your plans, I replied. That's what adults do when they choose them. You're making this harder than it needs to be, she said. I'm making it clearer than it's been. She exhaled into the phone. Just pick me up from the salon at 5. It's on your way, you said. I said I'm working. I told her, sliding the creeper out from under the axle. You can call a ride. You're really going to embarrass me like that? Embarrassment is a choice, I said. A beat. Then she softened. Look, she said, I'm sorry about last night. I should have told you earlier what the girls planned. Let's do dinner tomorrow, just us. I'll even pick the place you like. That steak spot. That was the first warmth I'd heard in weeks. I let it sit between us. Tomorrow could work, I said. But the rules stand tonight. Sure, she said. I appreciate you. It sounded almost believable. We hung up, and for a minute, I thought maybe we were stepping onto level ground. 10 minutes later, a payment request lit my screen, nails and hair maintenance. Amount, more than a reasonable dinner. Marco looked over my shoulder. Everything good, he asked. She apologized and then sent me a bill, I said. He shook his head, wiped his palms on a rag. You gonna respond? Yeah, I said, and I declined the request. I texted her, separate wants, separate wallets. Groceries and utilities are house. Salons and parties are you. Right away, 3 dots danced. Then, seriously? You're going to nickel and dime me like this? Make a plan. On the bill, I replied. Tonight is your plan. No response. Just the gray bubble evaporating. I set the phone down and went back to the axle. Marco laughed under his breath. Your tone sounded calm, he said. That must be infuriating. It's not meant to be, I told him. It's meant to be final. Jenna's place is the kind of ranch house that tries to be a lounge when the sun goes down. String lights, backyard speaker, people who memorize each other's social handles for sport. I parked the compact by the curb at 7:30. I was only there to make a polite appearance before I peeled off for my own plans. I had no interest in half-shouted stories about work drinks and someone's cleanse. Jenna greeted me with air kisses. Where's your better half? She asked. Doing a lap, I said. She texted she's on her way. Jenna handed me a plastic cup. Try not to judge the playlist, she said with a grin. We're keeping it light. I'm excellent at pretending to enjoy noise, I told her, which made her laugh. I found a corner of the kitchen near the island. Across the room, Austin, a guy who collects gym memberships like keychains, was holding court with 2 women. He's the loud one in that circle, always with a joke that's only funny if you're already trying to impress him. My wife walked in with 2 of her friends like a formation. Lipstick, laughter, the stage. She didn't look at me. She floated past me and planted in Jenna's orbit. 10 minutes of chatter and photos later, she finally drifted near, barely touching my arm. Hey, she said, eyes scanning the room over my shoulder. You made it. For a minute, I answered. I've got an early morning. We're going to the club after, she said. Don't wait up. Can I get the SUV key? We'll be more comfortable. The compact's outside, I said. It drives. She rolled her eyes. You and this key thing. Me and this boundary thing, I corrected. Austin came up behind her with a grin. We stealing him or ditching him? He asked, like a game show host. We're not a package, she said, laughing. He has his little shop thing in the morning. Garage, I said. And it's not little. Austin smirked. My bad, boss. Jenna swanned over with a tray. We're taking a group photo, she announced. Couples to the left, fun people to the right. My wife took the tray, handed me a cup as if to give me purpose. Then, loud enough to bend the air in the room, she said, I wish I'd come single. I'd be having more fun. The music kept playing, but something in the room tripped. A few smiles froze. Someone coughed. Austin did that laugh people do when they're hoping it is a joke and they're not going to get dragged into a situation. I looked at my wife. She smiled at her friends, did a little dismissive wave. Kidding, she said. He's sensitive. I set the cup on the island without tasting it. You sure that's the angle you want? I asked her, not moving an inch toward the performance. She widened her eyes at me like I was the one who'd misread the room. It's just a joke, she said. You're being sensitive. You should have come single, I told her. Let's fix that. Have fun. Find your own ride home. I pulled my keyring from my pocket, took the house key that matched her copy, and slid it off into my palm. Not a flourish, just a correction. The sound of metal on metal went flat in the kitchen. A couple guests made eye contact over their cups, hard, but aligned, the way people respect a line finally being drawn. Austin tried a nervous chuckle that died mid-breath. Don't be dramatic, she said, color rising but voice steady. You're not actually leaving. I am, I said. I told you the rules. You insisted on your night. Own it. I put the house key in my wallet, nodded to Jenna. She had the decency to keep her face neutral, and walked out. The night air felt like clarity. No storm, no wind. Just me and my feet going where I decided. In the car, my phone started lighting up like a slot machine. First, that wasn't funny. Come back. Then, you're embarrassing me. Then, are you serious right now? Then a string of calls I let roll to voicemail. By the 5th call, the tone shifted. Okay, this is not a game. My ride canceled. My battery is dying. Then the big one. Some guy offered me a ride. I'm scared. I answered once. You wanted to be single tonight. Figure it out. Then I powered the phone off and put it in the glove box. Not to torture her. Not to teach her. To keep my word to myself. I slept in the home office on the couch. Not because I was hiding. Because I wanted a door between me and any story she was going to tell when she stumbled in. Around 3 in the morning, the front door opened and closed. Low voices in the hallway. Hers and someone else. The someone else had that too loud whisper people fake when they want points for being quiet. The neighbor from 2 doors down. Austin's friend's cousin or something. I heard the clink of coins on the entry table. Thanks for the gas money, the voice said. Yeah, she answered tightly. Drive safe. The door shut again. I looked at the ceiling. The first cost of her fun had been paid. The price wasn't the gas. The price was the look she'd have to carry back into that kitchen tomorrow. Herself to herself, not to me. I got up at 6, brewed coffee, and started sorting her mail into a manila folder. A clean table reads like a decision. I opened the small safe we keep for documents, took out the spare house key with the red tag, and put it in my pocket. Then I set a single moving box by the front door. Essentials only. The box wasn't a threat. It was logistics. At 8:30, she came into the kitchen in sweats, hair in a knot, the tone of someone who wants the fight on her terms. You left me stranded, she said, biting each word like it had thorns. Do you understand that? I cut a slice of toast, leaned against the counter. I left a party where I was a prop. You chose your people and your joke. You chose your ride. I said I was joking. You were performing, I said. There's a difference. I had to get a ride with Austin's neighbor, she continued. I had to pay him for gas. That's not safe. That's not fair. You're right about the first part, I said. It's not safe to depend on strangers when you burn bridges in a room and expect the bridge builder to keep building anyway. She pointed at the moving box. What is that supposed to be? Your things for the week, I replied. You're going to Jenna's. I'll have new codes set by noon. You're actually doing this, she said, incredulous. After one comment that summarized months, I answered. One comment that told the room I'm the extra luggage you wish you hadn't checked. It's not that deep, she said. You're taking it out of context. The context is I proposed dinner and a movie, I said. You proposed you plus my car plus my time. Then you called me sensitive for noticing. Her eyes watered on cue. I shouldn't have said it like that, she said softly. I was showing off. It was dumb. Please don't make a scene out of this. No scene, I said. Just steps. I can make it right, she said. We can do that steak place tonight. I'll cancel the girls. I'll post an apology if that helps. You don't need to post anything. I cut in. You need to pack. She stared at me like she was about to pivot again. I can't go to Jenna's, she said. Her couch is torn up, and she has that dog. I didn't sleep. I need my bed. I need my drive to work. You'll manage, I said. Like you told me to manage my sensitivity. She scoffed. You're punishing me. I'm protecting the part of my life that still respects me. I said. There's a difference. Where am I supposed to put my stuff? She demanded. In the car you prefer when it makes you look like you're arriving somewhere, I said. It's roomy enough. She dropped the soft voice for the hard one. You're not going to get away with treating me like this. People saw you walk out. They're already asking questions. They're welcome to call me, I said, handing her the manila folder with her mail. I'll say I ended a performance I wasn't booked for. She lifted the lid on the moving box. Inside were her toiletries, a stack of folded clothes, a charger, and a set of spare shoes. Practical, not cruel. She looked at it like it was a verdict. You really think you're some kind of hero, she said. No, I answered. I think I'm a man who keeps his word. She swallowed. You can't just lock me out. That's illegal. I said new codes, I replied. Your name stays on the lease until the paperwork is final. You'll have access to your things. You won't have access to me. That's dramatic. That's accurate. She glared for a second longer, then tried one more angle. You love to be the stable one, she said. You know I'm in between gigs right now? You're really going to cut me off when I'm vulnerable. You're not vulnerable, I said. You're resourceful. And your money is our money, she added. Our money goes to the house, I said. Your club life goes to your account. That's been the rule since yesterday and the truth for longer. She walked to the sink, then back, then to the box again. I'll go, she said, picking up the charger and then setting it down. But you're going to regret making this public. It's already public, I replied. You made sure of that. She scooped up her bag and the folder and headed to the hallway. You're cruel, she threw over her shoulder. No, I said, and I held the door open. I'm done. She took the box to the compact, slammed the trunk, and drove off like the street owed her a lane. I closed the door, opened my laptop, and filled out the first set of forms you fill when you're stepping out of a contract that stopped being a partnership. It wasn't about blame. It was about clarity. I emailed her the notice to her personal address and set our communication to email only for anything household related. Then I called a locksmith and set a time. Not to play games. To finish the sentence, I texted Jenna. She'll be at your place this week. Please give her space. If she asks for rides or money, redirect her to her own arrangements. Thank you. Jenna responded with a single check mark and nothing else. People understand more than they say. By noon, the calls and messages turned into a stream. Not just from her friends, from a cousin I'd met twice, from Austin who wanted to clear the air because everyone was joking. The cousin left a voicemail about how a real man lifts up his woman, and sometimes women need to feel free. Austin texted a video from the party where I wasn't in the frame and typed, "That line was harsh, bro, but I get your vibe." My coworker Carla stopped by my bench at the shop with a sandwich. "Heard you had a night," she said. She's the type who never wastes words. "Public disrespect plus transportation demands," I said. "Classic combo." "You done?" she asked. "Past done," I said. She nodded. "If she calls here, say we're in the middle of a tune-up and it's against policy to take personal calls on the bay." "Thanks," I said. "You're too calm," she said deadpan. "It's unnerving. Keep it up." At 3, my wife sent a long message. "You made me look small. People are piling on. You walked out and left me to be mocked. I've got people calling me careless. You need to fix it. Post something. Pay for a car service for the week so I can get around and not feel stranded. If money is all you care about, at least handle that." I wrote back once, "I won't fund your image. Handle your plans." Then I stopped responding. Not out of spite. Out of policy. At 5, the locksmith changed the codes. I boxed up the rest of her scattered items. Exercise bands, skincare bottles, 3 mugs that weren't ours. I kept the box by the door. I sat down at the dining table with a pen and paper and wrote out the new structure. House expenses split by percentage of income. No car use without scheduling with me in advance, and not for nightlife. No shared cards for personal purchases. No last-minute rescue texts. Communication in writing. I took a photo of the list and sent it to her email. It wasn't meant to be a trap. It was a mirror. That night, she called from Jenna's with a new tone, "Syrup. I made dinner," she said, soft. "Jenna let me use her kitchen. It's your favorite. I packed it in containers. I can swing by and drop it off, and we can talk face to face." "That's kind," I said, "but no. Email." "This is ridiculous," she said, dropping the soft. "You're my husband." "You're the one who wished you weren't," I said. She hung up. Jenna texted me in the background. She's writing long posts. "You might get tagged. I won't comment. Do your thing." I didn't check. People can throw words into the air. Gravity takes care of the rest. The next morning, she showed up at 9 when I was leaving for the shop. The compact was packed sloppy with clothes. She stood in the driveway blocking my door. "We're not finished," she announced. "We are," I said. "You're not hearing me," she said. It was a stupid joke. I was trying to look fun around people who are shallow. "You know how they are." "I know how you are around them," I said. "I can change," she said. "I'll stop going out with them. I'll delete the photos. I'll start cooking more. I'll start splitting things if that's what this is really about." "It's about respect," I said. "Splitting comes with that." "Fine," she said. "I'll commit to a budget. I'll cut back. Just let me in. We'll reset." I looked at her. She looked right back with eyes that know how to find a soft spot. I didn't flinch. "Reset on paper," I said. "From your place." She frowned. "You're obsessed with optics," she said. "You want to look like the tough guy." "I want to be done debating," I said. "We don't share values about how we treat each other in public. I'm not training you like a puppy." "So that's it," she said. "You're throwing away our marriage because you got your feelings hurt at a party." "I'm stepping away from a partnership that used me as a stage prop," I said. "And since we're talking facts, you also used the neighbor as a way to avoid paying for a ride. You paid him cash for gas at 3 in the morning. That's risky and reckless." That's not on me. Her jaw tightened. I was scared. You had options before scared, I said. The best option was not turning me into a punchline in a room you wanted to impress. She folded her arms. Do you even love me? I loved who we were before this turned into an act, I said. That's not an answer. It's the only one you're getting, I said, and I opened my car door. She stepped aside, then tried a last line of attack. People will think you abandoned me, she said. I'll have to tell them my side. You won't like it. Tell them whatever you want, I said. I'll be at the shop changing oil for people who appreciate the work. She swallowed. I hate you, she said. No, I answered, settling into the seat. You hate that the script changed. I pulled out. In the rearview mirror, she stood there like the ending of a season people stop watching. It didn't stop with a drive away. It never does. That week she tried 3 more angles. The first was sadness, late-night messages about missing our couch, our routines, how she couldn't sleep at Jenna's because of the dog. Then guilt, a collage of photos she sent to mutual friends about being judged for wanting joy. Then pressure, a long, detailed message about how I owed her money for all the time she'd supported my grueling schedule, followed by 2 fake-looking invoices for emotional labor and party planning fees she claimed she fronted. I replied once to each category. To sadness, I hope you find a place that fits. To guilt, joy doesn't require someone else's gas tank. To pressure, declined. Carla saw me reading one of the messages over lunch and raised an eyebrow. You gonna keep this quiet forever? She asked. No, I said. I'm going to keep it short forever. Good, she said. Because the quiet ones always come out cleaner. Wednesday, I boxed the rest of her closet items and sent them with a courier to Jenna's. Thursday, I removed her name from the auto insurance and sent her the confirmation. Friday, I called the utilities and had our accounts split. In the emails, I was boring and polite. She replied to one, "You're not even angry." That's creepy. I typed back, "I'm not your audience anymore." A week later, she asked to meet for coffee to be civilized. I agreed to 10 minutes at a diner near the highway. Neutral ground, public, easy exit. I set a timer when I sat down because time is part of respect too. She arrived in sunglasses with a tote bag, slid into the booth, and didn't take the glasses off. I'm doing this because people told me you're reasonable, she began. What do you need? I asked. I need transportation until I get back on my feet, she said. A small monthly stipend. A sincere public apology for humiliating me. And to stop posting about me. I haven't posted about you, I said. You posted a photo of new locks, she said. That was a photo of a key on a table, I said. You are not a key. You know what you were implying, she said. Anyway, this is a compromise. No, I said. This is a list of demands from someone who lost leverage. She leaned forward, lowering her voice. You think you're better than me. I think I'm better without being treated like a rideshare account with a mouth, I said. She flinched, then gathered herself. I can redeem myself, she tried. Give me a chance. Let me move back in on a trial basis. I'll follow your rules. I'll even delete my social media. Don't delete anything, I said. Leave it all up. Let it be a record. You're really throwing this away, she breathed. You already did, I said. In a kitchen with your friends laughing. It was a joke, she said again, as if repetition makes reality. You can't glue back respect with just kidding, I answered. The timer buzzed quietly. I stood. Take care of yourself, I said. Find your ride. That line again, she said, bitter. You think it makes you sound powerful. It makes me sound like a man who doesn't carry people who walk over him, I said. She didn't follow me out. The paperwork went through faster than I expected because I didn't stall. I didn't argue over items or rehash history. I set terms, signed, and stepped. She tried to slow it with sentiment in one hand and invoices in the other. It didn't land. When a thing is over, dragging it doesn't make it more important. It makes it heavier. Our circles adjusted. Jenna stopped hosting girls' nights that used our living room as coat check. Austin kept his grin but avoided me at the grocery store. My weekends opened up like a road after a merge. I put my energy into the shop and picked up 2 new clients who respected estimates and timelines. I slept better. That's not poetry. It's just the truth of a quieter phone. 2 months later, I closed on a small bungalow across town with a yard, a sturdy fence, and a garage that fits my tools the way a right glove fits a hand. I bought a solid truck because I like hauling my own lumber. On Saturdays, I cook with actual ingredients. On Sundays, I hike with people who talk about real things. There's a woman named Dana who owns a dog walking business and has hands that smell like cedar from the leashes she braids herself. She speaks in statements, not tests. We take it slow. Slow is not boring when you're not being used. As for my ex, I hear things without trying. Someone mentioned she moved into a small apartment near the interstate. The lights in the hallway buzz. The neighbors argue over the laundry times. She rotates rides from people who keep track of favors. The post got quieter. The jokes didn't land the same without a man standing nearby to catch the pieces. One afternoon, I ran into Austin outside the hardware store. He did the half smile, half flinch. "No hard feelings, right?" he said. "None," I told him. "I'm busy living." He nodded too much and looked down at his cart. No stage there. Just two guys buying screws. Every so often, I think about that kitchen and the way the music didn't change but the room did. That's what decisions do. They don't make noise. They change what the noise means. If you're waiting for rage, you won't get it. I don't feed on anger. It leaves you hungry again an hour later. What I have is a simple line I follow like the edge of a workbench. When someone tells a room they wish they'd shown up single, believe them and let them try it. I did. She did. The last time we spoke, she messaged a clipped sentence about circling back when things calmed down. I answered with my last word to her. We finished. Single looks better on you when I'm not paying for it. Then I went back to my life, the one that fits.